Genet strolls into the theater carrying a lifetime of defiance. Here is a man who spent his youth as a thief, vagrant, and outcast, a gay man and ex-convict who inverted society's judgments by embracing the label of criminal as a kind of honor. Genet's art is the art of the outsider, and when he turned to playwriting in the 1940s and 50s, he did so with a flair for ritual and transgression. He once said that treachery, theft, and homosexuality, all the things society shunned, were his sacred themes. On stage, he elevated the outcasts to protagonists and crafted ceremonies of role-playing that exposed the arbitrary nature of power. Genet's plays are highly stylized rituals of revolt. They often feature characters enacting elaborate role reversals. Identities in Genet are fluid, layered, performed. As one analysis puts it, his dramas show ritualistic struggles between outcasts and their oppressors, where social identities are parodied and peeled away through theatrical roleplay. Take the Maids, 1947. Two housemaids resent their mistress. Whenever she's out, they perform a secret ritual. One maid dresses up as the madame, the other acts the servant, and they act out fantasies of power and humiliation, culminating in an imagined murder. It's a dark dance of envy and desire, and by the end, when the game crosses into reality, we're left unsure what was pretend and what was real. Genet turns a simple servant-master situation into a hallucinatory ritual about class hatred and the seductive allure of switching roles. In The Balcony, 1956, Genet pushes this further. The play is set in a brothel that caters to clients' fantasies of authority. One man dresses as a bishop, another as a judge, another as a general, each acting out make-believe scenes where they wield power and pronounce judgments. Meanwhile, outside the brothel, a real revolution is taking place in the city. By the end, the real leaders are dead or missing, and the play suggests that these men who play-acted authority might step into those roles for real, blurring the line between performance and reality, power and parody. Genet is wickedly implying that all power is performance. The highest offices of church, law, and military might just be a grand costume drama in society's theater. This idea that identity and authority are theatrical was revolutionary. It undercut the pretensions of those in power by showing how easily their roles could be mimicked and mocked. No wonder Genet's work was considered scandalous. He dealt openly with taboo subjects, not just crime and class, but also race. In The Blacks, an African ensemble enacts a ritual trial of a white woman, forcing white audience members to confront their own voyeurism and sexuality. His characters often engage in homoerotic or sadomasochistic dynamics, reflecting Genet's own experiences and fantasies. He delighted in transgression, in going beyond moral and social bounds. Yet his work is far from mere chaos. On the contrary, it has a ceremonial, almost liturgical structure. Genet once described the theater as a place to invoke the gods of transgression and then exorcise them. Each play is like a ritual sacrifice, with language that can sound like prayer one moment and profanity the next. The cultural context is key. Genet emerged from the ashes of World War II and the questioning of values that followed. He was championed by Jean-Paul Sartre, who famously wrote Saint Genet, an analysis portraying Genet as a saint of the wrong side of the law, someone who, through absolute betrayal of societal norms, found a kind of authenticity and freedom. Sartre and other intellectuals, like Cocteau and Picasso, even petitioned the French president to pardon Genet when he faced a life sentence as a repeat offender. They succeeded. Genet was freed and never returned to prison. It's as if Genet's own life was a performance in which he transformed from condemned criminal to celebrated playwright. This transition fed directly into his art. He was obsessed with metamorphosis and the idea that one could reinvent oneself through sheer act of will or theatrics. In staging Genet's plays, directors often highlight their ritualistic nature. There might be chant-like dialogues, exaggerated gestures, mirrors and curtains emphasizing reflection and illusion. We, the audience, are complicit in these bizarre rites. We enjoy the transgression vicariously. Genet wants us to feel that tingle of violating a taboo, then to realize that in doing so, we've also glimpsed the hidden truth. For instance, when the maids perform their murderous fantasy, it's entertaining in a lurid way, but it also comments on how oppression breeds hatred, and how the oppressed internalize and reenact the violence done to them. When the balcony shows revolution as just another role-playing game, it's funny, then chilling. Is our entire social order just a stage play? Are we all playing parts that could be swapped? Later in life, Genet's rebellions moved from stage to street. He became an active supporter of radical political causes, Black Panthers in the US, Palestinian liberation, May '68 protests. He even wrote about these experiences. In a way, his life came to mirror his art, always siding with the rebels and the marginalized, and always wary of how narratives, media, propaganda, are just more theater used by those in power. He remained the trickster philosopher to the end. The question Genet leaves hanging in the air is as subversive as ever. If all the world's a stage, who is writing the script of our identities? And can we seize the pen? Genet invites us to consider that perhaps the sinners and outcasts see the truth more clearly than the respectable do. Because from the gutter, you can see the arbitrariness of society's holy rules. Watching a Genet play, we might ask ourselves, what rituals of power are we complicit in every day? And if we stepped outside those roles, even for a moment, what kind of freedom or danger would we find? Genet doesn't give comfort, but he gives us the image of a stage where, for an hour or two, the world's upside down and a mirror is held to society's masquerade. The real provocation is what we do with that knowledge once the curtain falls.